Hey Barb, how you doing? How's everyone doing this evening? What is going on in your world? Alright. I need to roll up my sleeves because we're about to do real work here. Just kidding. Alright, is mine... Can't tell if my camera's dirty or what. I'm doing alright. Trying to get stuff done. Working on this, it's a paperweight, let's be honest, but it's a Byzantine sculpture. For anyone who wants to have a look-see. This is a chain of Byzantine made from rings using a Byzantine weave. And I'm about to combine these two. And I was just playing with the idea of combining them on so that the corners are caught instead of the flats. I think that is what I'm going to do, or at least attempt to do. So this is the third attempt to organize these blackened stainless steel and regular stainless steel into like a pleasingly visually pleasing orientation, because I've been having trouble the first one was one square was all regular stainless, the other square was all blackened stainless. The next was a mishmash of the two, and this is the third mishmash. Yeah. That's going to be too tight around there. Okay. This is worth looking into. So, yeah, I'm trying to experiment with bigger ringception projects, because I have some large ones coming up, and I just kind of want to get an idea for how different weaves work. So I've got 4 strands of Byzantine here to finish closing up, 2 for each square. And then hopefully we'll get to move on to a commission, a bracelet commission that I need to start. So, for anyone watching, my name's Sean. I run mailworks.com, where I design and sell chainmail themed apparel and accessories. And I make chainmail, and I am but a humble disciple in the Church of Chainmail, where we spend our time weaving the divine ring in our attempt to make the holiest of armors. Really what I do is I connect thousands of tiny rings together to make stuff, and I make a bunch of different stuff. So... Uh-oh. Not sure. Alright, this one is going to require some finagling. How many sides does a ring have in this creation? Sides being every other connecting unit, so how many around in one plane? There's 4 sides, I think, if I understand your question correctly. So it's the same thing I've been working on that you messaged me about earlier, John. So for anyone watching, I am streaming on multiple platforms. So if you hear me respond to a random comment, it's coming from somewhere else. I remember this being easier the last time I did this. So anyway, so you have 4 sides with how many points being pulled with the weave. Okay, how many sides does a ring have in this creation? Sides being every other connection. There's 84 rings in each Byzantine ring, which translates to like 12 connections per. I don't know if that answers your question or not. Am I doing this right? This does not feel correct. Yeah, I was totally doing that wrong. Do you wonder how a 3 and 3 chain would look? Silver, black, silver, then black, silver, black to make them square themselves and nestle into a weave? Yeah, it would be interesting to try and get that to work visually. I had an example around here earlier, and I think I put it back on my vest, where I have alternating black and regular stainless, and it's okay for a small section, but you know, you saw the original construction of when this was one regular stainless piece and one black and stainless square, so that looks better. Alright, so this is a part, is pane. I'm trying to make sure that this is as straight without being able to see too much of it. So super fun. All right. Now to do the other side. Here's a pro tip. Okay? Don't start making chainmail. Just don't. It is a pain in the butt. That's about the only nice thing I can say about it. You can make interesting, cool stuff with other hobbies that aren't such pain in the butt. Alright, this is where some finagling is required. This gets pretty tight as you're trying to weave it together. All right. So one square is complete. Right? Now I got to do this one. And these are wanting to fight me now. But I think that this is, right, the best visual representation that I've attained so far. This is the 3rd iteration, trying to show that it's a Byzantine square. I'm going to clean that camera. the color pattern's broken up enough. Sorry for anyone watching. I just put alcohol in your eyeball. So the other two ways that I organized the blackened stainless and the regular stainless on this did not look as clean as this does. So, like, this looks like it could be something, you know? Oh, there's something I was going to tell everyone. What was it? What? It was important. It was important. I mean, it wasn't that important, right? But, you know, also. Oh, man, okay. John, what'd you send me? Oh, okay. I think I kind of understand what you're talking about. No, I'm not talking to myself. Hey, Louie, how you doing? All right. This is... Oh, come on. This didn't cause me nearly the problems it's raising right now. The last 2 times I had this all connected together. So, it's being pretentious because I'm on camera. Alright, long day of work finally done. Yes, this is the same cube that I was working on last night, but it's all differently oriented. And I was almost finished reorienting it. So all the black and stainless and regular stainless have been switched around again for the 3rd time, trying to make this into something. This song always pops on, and it's too loud. So, alright, let me just... You literally checked if you were streaming? When do you usually hop on? I usually get on at 8:30. From 8:30 to 10. And I've started streaming during the daytime. Occasionally. I've done it once so far. And it wasn't a terrible experience. I'm likely to do it again. But my son is... Oh, he didn't do his homework tonight. Oops. My dogs are fed. My kid is fed. Right? Tomorrow is largely prepped for. I do have some stuff I still have to do, but... it's, you know... The rest of the family's like, we've had our family time, and we're just chilling now, so... I come down here and stream on camera. What have I done here? This is correct, right? Yes, that is correct. So I'm trying to trying to make this aesthetically pleasing because I put a lot of work into it, and the fact that it was looking like an amorphous blob was irritating me. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this last one in. There's, it's like through. But I need it to go around. Why is that not? That's weird. Okay. That's absurd. Have you ever considered making like ear weights for stretched lobes? No, I have not. No one's ever asked me to. I don't know why that wouldn't be possible. So you got to check that. Make sure you sing. Yes, please check her out. You know, she's she does good work. She just did a couple of smartwatch bands. Y'all, I swear I know what I'm doing. I promise. This is coming out exactly as I hoped. It's relaxing to watch me weave, yeah. It's not relaxing to do it right now. This is just being a butt for some reason. Okay. I'm going to do this a different way. All right. All right, Barb, have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. Better me than you. Fair enough. I just, you know, I want this to be visually appealing, so it looks like more than something than a paperweight. That's all I want. I don't think that's too much to ask. It's one of those things where I've already put too much time and effort into it. I should have stopped at the first iteration and stopped taking it apart and just left it alone. But no, not me. It was bothering me, and so I had to do something about it. You can't stay on a hobby for too long? Yeah. Hey, you know, I mean, eventually you get to a point where you got a bunch of hobbies and you start combining them. It's like I make chainmail because I can't draw or paint. I'm really bad at it. And my leather work is mid tier. So chainmail it was. I'm just kidding. That's not why I make chainmail. I make chainmail because it's dope. I'm not wrong on that. Yeah. All right. So we're going to detach these. These are just the connector rings to go through the 4-ring unit. So we'll see if we can't get these to cooperate. You can see mail and body modification going far. Leatherwork interested you, but the investment, yeah. I dropped $500 at Tandy the other day. Most of that was on leather. Shit. Get it through one. Okay, everything is in place. There's no reason for that to be so tight. Hooray! All right. Sorry, if you've commented, give me just a second. Speaking of leather, any of those strips work out for your pouches? I haven't gotten that far yet. I got the strips right there. They look perfect for them. I just got... The pouches are over on a towel where they've been drying for a week or two. Because I haven't gotten back over there and taken care of them. Alright, you feel like there's a pair of small, short hemostats being perfect for threading that? I mean, yeah. I won't say no. Any tool will work. Right. My pliers get 90% of what I need done. So I drove to Tandy Leather, which is like 40 minutes away, for what I needed, because I needed a bunch of stuff and they had most of it. So this is the farthest away I've ever lived from a Tandy. When I was in Texas, I was 20 minutes away. When I was in Boise, I was, I don't know, I was right down the street. And now I'm here and it's 40 to 45 minutes away. So I don't know of any local craft stores, right? Like, we got Michael's and Hobby Lobby here, and no, I don't have any problem with them, you know, but I need so much more than what they offer. Like, they're not going to sell a full hide of material. Like, when you need, like, I'm trying to do the leather edging on my saddlebag, and I need pieces that are 2 3/4 inches wide, that I can cut 64, 68-inch strips out of. So I said I don't know of any local craft stores that supply leather. I've got Hobby Lobby and Michael's, but they don't have like large hides that I would need to work with, that I can cut these 64 to 68-inch strips for the edging on my saddlebags, which is what I needed. Okay. I feel like that's better. Some fiddling with this looks like it's going to be required. It's just a little too tight, and I might, like, it's really loose right here, so I might take a section out of each side here. I did that earlier and it seemed to work out well. But there is my masterpiece. If you can see it without the comments. And it's like, there's a square of Byzantine rings made from Byzantine. And there is a square, and they intersect each other, interlock each other. So, I mean, this is done. It's a little loose in spots, so I'll take some of the slack out, but this is it, you know. This is a better look than what I had going. You know, just a paperweight sculpture thing. But I think that using the stainless for the connectors and the black and stainless for the corners, right? And then vice versa on the other one. I think that's the best orientation I've come up with for these two colors, so that it is easily identifiable. So, desk ornament sounds better than paperweight or desk-sized sculpture. Yeah. So, I will play with the slack in this because there's a little more than what I'd like, but overall, this is it. Like that gap right there that I can almost put my pinky through, I can take that out. But yeah, voila, it is done. You know? My move? No, I've got a commission I've got to do. But I've got to get to work on. So a mesh screen, metal strainer, and a small space here is what you use to dry your rings. Shake the ring strainer every 10 minutes versus air drying and getting spotting. Could a ball or the like fit the center and create tension even? Yeah, it probably could. You could get a ball bearing in there. So I've got a custom order for one of these. Customer saw my bracelet and wanted to buy it off me, and I finally got all this stuff in for it. So I do have the hood right here, but the hood comes after commission work. I've got this bracelet commission, and then I've got to finish up some vest extenders. And what did I do with those rings? Those are not them. Hey Amy, how you doing? All right. It is either I got a pile of containers here. Alright. And I gotta figure out what ring size I used for this. Because I can't tell. I mean, I have some I can show you. If that's what you're asking. Did you want to see some, Louie? I can grab you one real quick. Ready. Good. Working on Valentine's Day stock for your shop. Not a fan of pins, so black and white it is. There you go. Not a fan of pink. I can read. So that is the vest extender for my vest. And I just bought a bunch of chrome tan leather and some punches to make these ends here. And I'll be replacing these. And I've got two sets of pins here. One that look like they're regular buttons. So, for anybody on overhead. Right, some vest extenders. And then I'll be replacing the buttons with, it's like a Willie skull from Harley. Kind of, not really. Yes, it's a Byzantine weave. The overhead is on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, and X, if you want to see it. What was I saying? Oh, and then these other, like, these are cool. They are the card suits with skull and crossbones in them, right? But the back is not like a regular button pin. One of these things is not like the other. And this one I can work with, and this one I've never worked with. For anyone up here. So, got all the card suits with the skull and crossbones in them. All I need is 4 to replace these snaps. I just got to figure out how they work, if I can make them work. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, these are those are the vest extenders, and they work pretty well without. There used to be a bar that all the strands would connect to, and I hated that because the strands of Byzantine would slide down into the corner of the bar. And so I punched out these little ovals into the snaps, and there away I went. So, Suburban Mom. Oh, it's Louie from TikTok. How you doing, Louie? Yes, can you see? On the overhead. All right. So, I'm going to make a bracelet for this skull and crossbones slider bead with, here, zoom in on it all. So we got the spade with the skull in it, skull and crossbones, and then some spacer beads to throw in there. And this is essentially what it'll look like when it's all done. Overhead looking good. You should pull up both strings up. Right on. Anyway, so this is I think this is the right ring size for what I need to do. And that's, you know, difficult to see, but if you need a close-up, just let me know. All right. Amy, are you still hanging out? If she's not, I'll take pictures of that cube, and she's seen the earlier iterations. I'm wondering if the improvements I've made are in fact improvements. Alex, how you doing? Big fan, huh? Right on. I appreciate those. So we just got done with a Byzantine sculpture. Now we're moving on to a commission. And I think I'm using the right rings to make what I'm making, but I'm not 100% sure. So it is what it is. That ring is like wildly out of round. What is going on here? How much for a large male upper torso of chainmail? Do you want it butted, riveted, welded? Do you want to use split rings? I think the last shirt I quoted was about 10 grand. And actually that was the shirt that made me a little, the shirt design made me want to implement the buckles and lining and oh, I can show you my ring. That I usually have this stuff on during streams or when I go out and stuff, but I've had some achy joints and just feeling like crap. Last several days. You have a set of armor with full chain under? There you go. You and me both. There was, someone posted a bunch of their armor for sale, and it didn't look unreasonable. But I have to spend my tax return on my truck. So tires in October, and now timing chain in next week. And that's going to eat up my whole tax return. So is this a Persian weave? No, this is called interwoven 4-in-1. And it's like 4-in-1, but it's interwoven, so it's like 2 rows of 4-in-1 being woven into each other. I need a copper mail ring. A $200 riveted titanium short half sleeve mid thigh. Where are you getting that from, John? Jasmine, how are you doing? We're talking about chainmail rings. A $280 riveted titanium shirt. Like, is that machine made? I'm working on a bracelet commission right now. So, someone saw my bracelet that I usually wear on stream and wanted one. And I have a bunch of these made, just not with the skull and crossbones. So, got all the parts now. We're putting them together. We just finished up this lovely Byzantine sculpture. Paperweight something. Desk sculpture. I don't know. That's from India, not best production of every ring, but for just wanting a shirt these days, that's what you recommend. If it's from India, it's not titanium. I'll tell you that much right now. So, it's like you would be lucky to get even something iron-based out of there. Death sculpture is probably the best to call it, to be honest. Yeah. Not amorphous blob. Misshapen metal something. No, I like the way it is now. I'll fix the slack on it, make it stand up a little straighter. But I like the way the black and the regular stainless are mixed. Right? They're from the makers you order from. They're big with HEMA, not any random Indian maker. Okay. So you've not taste tested. You've sampled. And you can speak highly of them. I'll take your word for it, man. I trust you. It's too beautiful to call it a paperweight. Thanks, I think it's beautiful too. It's one of those, okay, so there are mini ringception projects that I want to do. And so I need to get color down kind of well. The flattens don't match ring to ring. They burr and catch under armor, but will stop a blade and work for munitions grade armor. From there, it's custom fit for 3 to 4 times minimum that. Okay. Well, that's not terrible. If it's actual titanium. Because titanium chainmail is one of those things where it's stronger than and lighter than steel, right? And it's not being moved around, so the brittleness is not so much of a factor as opposed to, say, I don't know, larger pieces of armor. So if you can get it for, what's 3 to 4 times 280? 280, 560, 840, 112, 1,120. You'd still pick a handmade small artist over machine or some mystery metal? Sure. That's why I'm out here. I am but a humble disciple of the Church of Chainmail, spreading the good word of the divine ring and how teaching people how to make the holiest of armors. Just trying to educate the masses. The fun part is I don't know. That looks like the right ring size. You mean how many times you've been here this week alone? Yeah, I appreciate you swinging by, hanging out. you know, I am going to add some more stuff to the stream. I've got a different tripod lined up so that I don't have this angle. I'm trying to find a more friendly angle. I've got some lights lined up in my Amazon cart, and I've got a bunch of my money is coming out of a bankruptcy, and so once I get that, then I'll have that, the tax return, and then I've got some savings going towards a bunch of debt that I have. So once all that's paid, then I'll be able to, you know, use a little room in my retirement to get some stuff off Amazon to, you know, liven it up a little bit. You don't hate the angle for this on TikTok? You know, a few rivet mail makers, they charge about $1,400 to $3,700 for a full sleeve, knee-length fitted hauberks, and folks that will make them butted for $20,000. So it's a matter of finding the maker that creates your desired end goal. There you go. You know, I don't want to be realistic or unrealistic. You know, but the reality is, to get me to make a shirt for someone else, it's just going to be expensive. It cut out when you talk bankruptcy, but you're generally curious about it for yourself. What are we curious about? Somebody of mine was tied up in a bankruptcy. The company is finally, like, sending out all its assets to its customers. And I will have some of my money back, plus some money in savings, plus my tax return. So that's going towards my truck and a bunch of debt I have. And then I will be able to use the little bit of wiggle room that gives me to buy some stuff off Amazon to help liven up the stream a little bit and make it a little more professional looking, right? Because, like, my overhead stream, I've got 2 cameras, decent lighting, could be better. And it's, you know, we got high quality webcams. It's not terrible. I got a spinning 3-dimensional logo, my name across the bottom, got a slideshow, got a comment section. Took a lot of work to make it look that good. But my TikTok stream, you know, it's meh. Makes sense. You thought you were talking about a personal bankruptcy? No, I haven't gone bankrupt yet. Not yet. I'm just kidding. I'm not close, but so you move as much as you can into 0% interest loans, and you pay off as much as you can, and then your truck breaks down, it puts you right back where you were, but then you get your tax return, and it all just kind of evens out in the end. That's why you asked. Yeah. Nope. My dad went bankrupt twice. Once after each wife. Or once for each wife, I think. And then I had some in-laws that were in a bankruptcy, but other than that, I don't know. I don't know anything about the bankruptcy process, except that the lawyers, all of them, all lawyers, will intentionally string it out as long as possible to make sure that they get, you know, they're basically engaging in vampirism on these companies that are going bankrupt. So that is what just happened to the company that I had some assets tied up with. And I mean, this law firm's charging millions a month. So I don't know if I'd rather go bankrupt or go to debtor's prison, because either one seems terrible. Alright, let's check this here. Oh, did I make it too long? I think I did. It's okay, we can start on the next one. So each of these bracelets is 2 strands, right? And down the back, through the center ring and every ring, is the 2 strands of Byzantine. Like so. Like the chains go all through the beads, right? So I'm trying to eyeball the ring size that I used here. I think I got it right. I think it's fine. And if it's not exact, it's pretty close, so should be okay. I have an ultrasonic in my Amazon inbox to clean it. John is a big advocate for ultrasonic cleaners, and I want to get one to try it out. So beyond pliers, like the specialty tools that I have are a welder and a tumbler. So I haven't needed a lot, but as I go towards my goal of, making large art pieces, and being having a full functioning chainmail setup in my basement, I find I need more and more. So a little bit at a time. It's like I've never had an ultrasonic cleaner up to this point. Nothing bad is going to happen if I don't get one tomorrow. I have made my own rings before, and one of the aspects of becoming a fully functional chainmail, one-stop shop is I will be making my own rings again, because many of the pieces that I want to make are large and will require lots of rings. So for a long time, my thought process was, okay, my job is not to make chainmail rings, because making chainmail rings is a skill, and it's not necessary anymore to know how to make rings, because there are so many chainmail ring manufacturers that have popped up over the last, 20 years. And it's cheaper to just order from them, for me, than it is for me to invest in my own setup, right? Especially right now, because 90% of the rings that you've seen are rings that I owned, that have just been sitting around for forever. I didn't have any plan for them. And now I'm like, okay, I need to clean up my basement and get this party started, because these rings ain't going to weave themselves. Only way to clean metal out of blood is with an ultrasonic cleaner. Folks talk about blood sacrifices, and that's just dirty and Band-Aid, clean wash, and disinfectant. Aluminum will carry biomatter. Interesting. Am I doing the little extra bend on these? I don't know what you mean. The little extra bend. When you close a ring, you want the ends to kind of clip each other. And you don't want to see any visible light coming between the ends of the butted rings. So it's like, okay, if this is the end of your butted ring, right, my hands, you want to kind of bring it down bring it down just a little bit past, and then back up. I hope that makes sense. The Byzantine looks like every few, there's a ring bent perpendicular to the opening. Okay. So are you talking like there's this, and then there's that, and then that ring? Right? So the way that Byzantine orients it, orients one way, and then it twists, and then back and forth, making a pattern. So if ultrasonic cleaners get blood off of metal, then I would say, yeah, I probably should really get one. Oh, yeah, no problem. You're very welcome. Anytime I can, you know, help out, answer questions, get a better angle of something. But yeah. So, ultrasonic cleaner and a machine to anodize titanium rings. I'm going to move my welder and the anodizer to a cart, get rid of one of my tables, get a shelf for storage, and then you have a 230,000 ring project you want to make and check the price and cry. Then price to make them and learn is no different than learning a new weave and get good at weaving it. Yeah. Hydrogen peroxide gets blood off better, and if the brown bottle isn't enough, use hair bleach. Hydrogen peroxide is good for getting blood out of clothes. I know that much. Just throwing my chainmail in the washer with some OxyClean and all right. Do I have a 230,000 ring project? Trying to think. I don't know if I have any projects that large. I think at most my shirts might be 30,000. And I have a bunch of bottle wraps that are easily 10,000 rings. The 20 volume, 30 volume bottle from Sally's bleaches wool and cloth easily and quickly. Okay. Are we still talking about getting blood out of things? Tonight on CSI. Local chainmail artist was discussing how he got rid of the blood on his clothes. The police kept asking him, where was the body? Where was the body? But he didn't know. All right. John, are you making something that has 230,000 rings in it? Developer, that's what you meant. Oh, okay. It's just hydrogen peroxide and higher. It's just hydrogen peroxide in higher concentration. Yep. The only thing better is an autoclave for getting blood off stuff. That's interesting because the discussion of sending off items to people, excuse me, like when you're sick, has come up in discussion in the chainmail forums. You used to deal in silk antique rugs and stuff and use that. Nice. So I imagine that anytime someone says they've got a blood sacrifice, that yeah, they don't need to be sending off their jewelry with blood on it, chunks of their flesh. It's probably bad. And I'd say don't let your pliers slip But, you know, I've been doing this for a long time, and I still have issues, so... You've been holding back, but Harbor Freight has an ultrasonic? Yeah. I was just down there, too. So my in-laws used to live right across the street from a Harbor Freight. And I've never been in there, but, you know, I've talked about getting a Harbor Freight cement mixer to tumble shirts in. I don't know if I need anything else from there, but my brother-in-law's shop where I'm getting my truck fixed is down the street from there, so I've got to go back down there and Tuesday, whenever my truck gets fixed. When is that? So, they've got some nice hand tools and odds and ends. I've never been in there. I know that it's there. And I know that I don't want to pay more than I need to for a cement mixer that I am just going to throw some stainless steel shirts in. And some galvanized steel shirts and spin them around for hours. Right? And I don't feel like building a tumbler for the shirts. Not that I couldn't, but it just seems like less of a headache to spend less than $300 to get a machine that'll do what I need than for me to go out and piece together all the parts I would need to actually build a tumbler for a shirt. So the reality is that moving forward, you know, I'll use it and clean up the shirts I have now. But, like, I never had a tumbler 20 years ago when I made these shirts. No one listens to you about blood rust and it can contain blood for centuries? Interesting. I mean, I don't know. My experience on the internet is that it's largely not a place where people want to hear other people. So there are many characters on the internet who like their ego is too big for you and them to exist in the same group at the same time. Or the same comment section. You have 10,000 half Persian captures. 10,000 half Persian capture dress you're making that will have 230,000 rings with captures and connecting rings. 31.6 pounds total weight if all captures are used. Holy crap, dude. You can't anodize stainless. So if you want to color stainless, you gotta like gun blue it. And I don't know anything about that process, but I might learn. Because I have been challenged to take my crappy galvanized steel shirt out of the shed, tumble it in the Harbor Freight cement mixer, dump it in vinegar to get rid of the galvanization so that it doesn't smell, you know, and polish it up and bring it in the house because it should no longer stink to high heaven, because once you get rid of the zinc that causes the galvanization, then, you know, it doesn't smell anymore. So then once I do that, I will figure out whatever the bluing process is, to treat the metal so that I'm not dealing with rust all the time and having to oil the shirt and whatnot. Oh, you asked, have I ever tried heat anodizing stainless? No. I don't know anything about heat anodizing stainless. Is that like applying a flame to it to discolor it? All right. Speaking of items that have 230,000 rings in them, the mithril shirt that Frodo wears in Lord of the Rings, it's basically like a magical silver piece of armor. I wonder how many rings were in that. Taking a small torch to a stainless tube and have been able to achieve a rainbow of sorts? Yeah. I've never, I've done that with pieces of metal, but never specifically a chainmail item. One, two, three, 4, 5. 4, 5. Okay. It's probably not that far from bluing steel. Yeah, like I said, I have no idea what the process is for bluing steel. I know that I need to, once I have the galvanized shirt tumbled, degalvanized, and like reworked because it was really a crappy shirt, then I will need to either oil the metal or treat it somehow to prevent it from rusting, because it is a humid basement. So the bracelet I'm working on right now has a buckle clasp, and I'll show you what that looks like. Looks like that. The issue with these is that the wings right here are not stainless steel. So flame painting akin to copper, it forms an oxide layer but is weakest of all oxide layers. Fair enough. So because that portion is not stainless steel, I'm moving strictly to the shackle clasp. For my bracelets, that's all stainless steel. All right, the full shirt you see is knitted yarn. The only real section is no larger than the chest area, he reveals after being stabbed. And oh, in Lord of the Rings? Okay, well, how many rings are in the real section, and then we can deduce how many rings it took to make his yarn shirt. Well, I only need like 16 of you. All of you jumped out. So It's like I want to make pieces that are all stainless steel, that are all sterling silver, that are all gold, all titanium, right? I don't want to use base metals for anything. I need. I sound like a child. So. I don't know. It's like I've made crappy jewelry before. And I've tried really hard over the last 15 years or so to improve what I make as best I can with what I have. Have I ever accidentally spilled your rings and had to sort with them like calipers? I haven't had to use calipers, but let's see here. I've dumped a bunch of different ring sizes into a tumbler before and sorted it all out. And then I have spilled rings and had to pick them all up. And then I had an NCO while I was in the Army who thought it'd be funny to take all of my ring containers together. And then as I was trying to get the tape off of them, they busted open and went everywhere. And I had to pick those up. That was the same NCO who tossed me on my head that dislocated the vertebrae and the discs in my neck. So he's a real fucking peach. Alright, the few thousand in the section shown. Best matches, Argentium, followed with silver work attached on top. Full shirt would be 100,000s, but not over 500,000. Yeah. So what do you think the ring size is? Like, what's your best guess, John? 500,000 rings in a shirt. That'd be nuts. But yeah, I've dropped all kinds of rings and had to pick them up, and it's a pain in the butt, but it is what it is. Comes with the territory, so you try and, get spill-proof containers and Hillshire Farms Go Meat containers. But even these kind of pop open on you if you're not watching. All right. 2 pounds of 21 gauge mixed with a pound of 22 gauge 1/8 rings, gave them away and made new ones versus sorting them. Yeah. So here you go. It's your problem now. .20 gauge 1/10 of an inch. Akin to your welded one you were making because of inspiration. Well, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, like, I could make a mithril shirt, But then I'm like, also, I could just go buy a Neptunic shark suit and feel just as good about my accomplishment. Could do that, or, not. Someone I follow on TikTok got one of Gimli's helmets, like one of the original reproductions, the other day. I didn't realize that you could own that, for starters. But it's awesome. I was like, hell yeah, I'm jealous. There's not a lot I'm jealous about in the world, but I don't think I have. I don't know. I'm not one for collecting stuff from pop culture. Right? I have a bokoblin from Tears of the Kingdom. Little funny looking creature. I've got one of those that my son got me for my birthday over the summer because we were both heavily playing Tears of the Kingdom, fighting over it, in fact. And but other than that, like I got stuff that I've made on display. You looked at it and cost. Your shirt will be far better versus generic saggy t-shirt mail. There you go. How many hours would I say what piece? The piece I'm working on right now? Right? You just watch me make those. Okay? And it takes about 4 hours per bracelet. 2.5 to 4 hours. What is this? What am I looking at? Yeah, there you go. Next ring size, please. Yeah, 2.5 to 4 hours, just depending. This one has a lot of different ring sizes in it, so. You want to be careful not to mix them up or anything. But I'll be done with this by tomorrow and get it sent out on Friday. And then I'll get the loose one is the shark mail. The other one is more akin to Frodo. Okay, hang on. Okay. Okay, so that's on par with Neptunic Shark Suit, the 20 gauge 1/8. Is that what it is? I think that's what size they use. So, if I were to make this bracelet outright, the cost of the rings, right, there's, hang on, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different ring sizes in this. Maybe 7, I'm not 100% sure. So to buy an ounce of each of those is 16 bucks roughly. I buy them in bulk, so I get a bit of a discount. Whatever 6 times 16 is. And like in this case, 1 ounce of these rings doesn't even, you don't have enough rings to make a bracelet, right? At least if you get an ounce of this size, right? You use fewer rings in these than one of these bracelets, but also, you know, these require like 300 of this size ring, right? So you got to order 2 of those. So you're spending, you know, a bunch of money on the rings initially just to make one bracelet, and then you have leftover, and then, you know, all the shipping. Each of these, you know, you need 2 of each of these, 1 of these, and then a buckle clasp. Buckle clasps are like $6 plus shipping. So you're like just to make 1, right? That's why I buy everything in bulk and make a bunch to cut down on cost, but it gets astronomical after a while. And then you think about it, and people who make chainmail as for a living, you know, they gotta have health insurance too, dental insurance, eye insurance, more rent, all that fun stuff. Water, electricity. So, I mean, yeah, chainmail is expensive, period. If you just want to make something for yourself, right? And you're not investing in the setup to cut your own rings and everything, which that's not cheap. So, anyway, there's my rant for the night. "100% agree." Richard Toddy, how you doing tonight? I saw a video from you earlier, and it had a location on there. I thought, huh, that is strange. Are you in Idaho? Are you an Idahoan? A potato-eating Idahoan? You might not be. I don't know. But that is where I'm from. You are? Right on. Correct. 20 gauge 1/8, a bit loose, nice feeling 4-in-1, but it won't stop at 1/8 blade points or the like. Yeah. If I have not looked into insuring your hands, no joke, check into it if you are serious on mail making for a living. Oh, you live in Nampa? Okay, that's an old stomping ground of mine. Me and my uncle ran a haunted house 3 decades ago. Well, 25 years ago in Nampa. Got a bunch of friends that live out there. No, I have no intention of making chainmail for a living. But insuring body parts is not something unfamiliar to me, as I once watched Riverdance. And then Lord of the Dance. And Michael... I forget what his name. Flatley. I learned all about how he had his ankles insured and wore special tap shoes with silver taps in them. How do I hold my pliers like this? I don't know. I've been doing it for forever. I don't know how people do it the other way. So I can navigate this, but it's awkward. Oh, I didn't need to open that ring. That's okay. This is, yeah. Probably be better on my carpal tunnel. This is how you learned. Most people learn this way. I mean, there's no wrong way to hold your pliers unless you're pulling one of these, right? Where you're just upside down and backwards trying to close a ring. You've gone too far at that point. Other than that, as long as you're not hurting yourself, use one of those finger rings with the slits in them. You just open it up like that. I've seen those. I've never used one. I did need to use that ring. Where'd it go? But yeah, Michael Flatley has his ankles insured for $500,000 or something like that, in case he ever breaks one. Yeah, I've never used the rings. I've seen them. I was like, that's, cool. You have 6 of them. You just got them on like a bunch of different fingers, and you're weaving multiple rings, opening and closing them all at the same time. Use your palm and last 3 fingers, leaving your thumb and first ring finger to grab hold. And move rings or hold tiny rings to prevent excessive reaching. Yeah. So John, you're weaving like that? How are you weaving? Saves on the carpal tunnel. You have it also? Yeah. Okay, you use one at a time. Alright. Did I do these right? If I did these right, then this will fit nicely. And we'll see. I don't want to add the other side just yet, because it becomes a pain. So these are through. And they're not stable because they're not finished being put together, but they will be. I've got some. Do I have some? No. Yes, I do. Okay. I don't know if you can see, but these are 18 gauge 3/16 on the ends, and once everything's in place, it'll prevent it from sliding through this bead. It'll hold itself in place. So it's just, you got to get everything correct, you know, beforehand, and then okay, that doesn't want to agree. You make a lot of jewelry? Right on. I make some. Okay, now I gotta guess as to that just no, that is a ring size smaller. I don't know if these. Also, belts are popular. Right on. Do you like have a booth out there in Nampa or a place to vend? Last I checked, there was not a Renaissance Festival in Idaho. But also, I haven't checked in a really long time, so these will work. Like, do you have a place to vend, or do you just do solely online? So I have some belts I'm working on, and I just got the leather to finish them a couple weeks ago. You suit, you have bad knees and can't set one up. Fair enough. So is it all online now? The Highland Games? I didn't know there was a Highland Games in Idaho. But, you know, it's been forever since I lived there, so. When was I last there? Well, I was last there 2 years ago, but I last lived there 2002 is when I last lived there. So 21 years ago. The length of time I have not lived in Idaho is now old enough to drink. You sell mostly through TikTok. Right on. I sold this through TikTok. It's my second commission through here that I've accepted. People like to ask me to make stuff, and a lot of it I'm not set up for, and so I try to point them in the direction of someone who, like, I know makes stuff. Oh, you're native to California? Right on. I know a lot of people who were native to California that moved to Idaho. My grandfather was murdered in California and when my mom married my dad. They were both living in California at the time. My dad was originally from Idaho. But they moved back from California to Idaho when they got married, started having kids and whatnot. And I got a buddy, Luke. He's from California. You're born in Hollywood, raised in Southern California? Right on. I made my buddy Luke a Raiders flag out of chainmail recently. When was that? Last year? I think. So, I could have been a rich brat that inherited a lot of prime real estate in somewhere around Pasadena. I don't remember. But the neighbor my mom grew up around murdered my grandpa because they had an easement on his property and kept letting the animals out, and my grandma didn't like it, so she was confronting them about it. And then my grandpa went and was like, hey, stop letting our animals out. And they didn't like that, so they cut his brake lines. You still need to build up your colored rings. You have an abundance of chrome, like stainless, shiny stainless rings, or like bright aluminum. And yeah, after my grandfather was murdered, the whole family moved to Iowa and sold prime real estate in California. That is worth, like, we looked it up, and it's a ridiculous amount of money. Oh, bright aluminum mostly. Okay, right on. Ain't nothing wrong with a little bright aluminum. I'm working on a giant cube from bright aluminum. And I have a random bright aluminum sculpture piece. I am trying to use up all of my aluminum and move solely to silver and gold, titanium and steel. I don't want to really play with other materials anymore, so I've got some anodized aluminum and some brass and bronze, and brass and bronze tarnishes too easily, and is aluminum a good starter, or is stainless steel better? So for anything you're doing, it just depends, right? One thing you don't like about steel is it tarnishes. Yeah. Oh, my I need to move these piles farther away from each other because they are very close in size. So I can deal with steel getting dirty because I can clean it. The way brass and bronze tarnishes, it's just like you touch it and overnight it's a different color the next day. So that's why I stopped using those. But every metal oxidizes except gold. Silver is as bad as copper for tarnishing, and you don't like it? Yeah. That is why they made, liver of sulfur? To patina your silver. Is that what it does? To age it? So, depending on what you're making, how strong it needs to be. Yeah. So, with aluminum as a starter, if you were to order the Chainmail Joe starter box, right? There's nothing wrong with that. No one can say anything bad about it because it's perfect for a starter kit. If you are making a wallet chain, I wouldn't make it out of aluminum. You know, wallet chain's fairly easy beginner project. I mean, you can. Don't let me tell you what to do, but also, in my experience, aluminum wallet chains don't hold up. Oh, your belts are all... I'm assuming you mean aluminum rings and can hold up to 80 pounds with it. Yeah. Aluminum for a belt's not a bad option. If you have like a thick gauge, like 12 gauge aluminum ring, 14 gauge aluminum rings, and, the aspect ratio is fairly small, so they're dense rings, they can work well for a lot of stuff. And I'm not trying to knock them, but it's not something I'm going to do, right? And anymore, soon here moving forward, once I finished getting rid of all these old rings, .14 gauge is the minimum for pan chains for you in bright aluminum. Yeah, mostly 12, and you usually do 4-1 or 8-2. Nice. Yeah, like I said, it's not wrong to use those for whatever you want to make out of them. It's just, how long is it going to hold up? What's going to oxidize as? How easy is it going to be to clean? How often are you going to have to do repairs? And I don't want to work with aluminum, anodized or bright. And that's, just because of my experience with those materials. A lot of people do. A lot of people have good success with them. You made one in full Persian, it looked awesome. Yeah. So I think aluminum is as good a place to start as any. Excuse me. It's like the reason I make stainless steel jewelry at all, right? With stainless connections is because I want all of my stuff to last for forever. You're trying to build your account up so you can have a better audience? Yeah. Same, buddy. Like in 150 years, I want someone to pick up their great-grandpa's chainmail jewelry and go, oh, this is awesome. And, have it work perfectly. So, it's not that I don't think you can achieve this. What have I done here? I screwed up. There we go. So, each, depending on what you're making, will determine what is the best material to use, I think. But you can just make whatever you want. Some stuff's going to be better than, and better is in longer lasting, more durable than others. And that's just, so. I don't know. I'm not trying to use any more aluminum than what I have, and that's just a personal preference. But when you start cutting rings, keep to the narrow path you seek now. Don't fall to the dark side of dozens of pounds of rings per blade tempt you with its stellar bills flying through your pocket. All your jewelry that you sold to Highland Games, you had a lot of repeat customers the whole 5 years of it. Nice. Right on. Like, vending's one of those things that I shy away from for two reasons. One, because I don't want to go to these events for the most part. I don't want to go and set up and take my weekend and deal with people. Right? That does not sound like a fun time to me. So I applaud the people who do it. Right? And then I don't want to sit and make stuff for sale all the time and come up with stuff that I think, oh, that will sell really well all the time. One, because I'm not good at it, and two, because I'd rather make other cool stuff. Like, I don't know, Byzantine squares interlocked together for some reason. You know? Like, you can't make that, en masse to sell to people. You have a few that still order from you, and you made over $5,000 in 2 days when you were there. Your best run is 6 pounds in stainless for one blade. Best bright aluminum is 28 pounds for one blade. Oh, right on. Very nice, John. Good work. Yep. Yeah. Like I said, it's not one of those things I want to do. I should probably go and do it to get my business out there, because I have, like, more than just chainmail. I also have all of the apparel that I design that is all chainmail themed. And, like, I've got the Scottish flag with a Scottish thistle on it out of, a chainmail design on a blanket. I've got the Irish flag with a harp on it as a blanket, as a hooded blanket. These are items I should get out there in front of more people. But it's a ton of work, and I'm not mentally prepared for it. Leather saddlebags are badass. Thank you. Yeah. So I can grab one for you and show you. What time is it? Holy crap, it's 10:15. Oops, we went over. Let me move these last couple rings here, and I will show you what I'm talking about. There. I'm just sitting here blabbering. I should have been. It's okay. Nothing bad is going to happen if I go over time. It's just that now I'll be up later finishing off all the stuff I got to do before tomorrow. Alright, let me grab some stuff for you to show you as best I can. Give me 2 seconds. Alright, where's the top to this? So here is the hood, right? And here's the side, right? And here is the design. So it's a Irish flag with a harp on it. Try and show that as best I can. And here's the hood, right? Let me grab one more. You know those jelly cubes we've been making, right? Here's the hood, right? And there's a jelly cube on this with some chainmail behind it. Coif made last looks like that. Right on. What does it look like? The second blanket? Excuse me. All right. So those are the chainmail themed apparel and accessories that I sell on my website at mailworks.com. I got hooded blankets, and the new blankets are printed and shipped in the US, and they have like little pockets for your hands. So I got a hood and like hand pockets and a wrist strap, and they're awesome. They're super warm, right? They got like the microfleece or the microfleece on the inside, and so whenever it's freezing cold down here and I don't want to turn on the fireplace, I grab one of those blankets and it warms you up very quickly. Yes, you can be a flying squirrel in them. Alrighty. Clean up all this crap. So please, go check out my website, find a hooded blanket design you like, and keep yourself warm this winter. And also, a popular item has been the giant chainmail snug hoodie. A lot of people have enjoyed that. So, all right, guys, that is my spiel. Right? So, my name's Sean. I run mailworks.com, where I design and sell chainmail themed apparel. The stuff you just saw. So go check it out. Get yourself something nice. Get your loved one something nice. And yeah, if you want to see more chainmail content where I make cool stuff like coifs and Byzantine cubes, right? Please go buy something, because that directly supports me. All right. If you want to learn more about chainmail, you can go to my link tree, and in the link tree in my bio, those words are hard to get out sometimes, is the Mailworks app. And in the Mailworks app are all the resources I would have wanted when I first started making chainmail 27 years ago. It's got where to find ring manufacturers, where to find other people who make chainmail, a list of artists if you want to purchase something made from chainmail. If you want to have something custom made, it's a good place to look. And all sorts of goodies in there. And more to come. I'm going to add the scale mail designer, put a link to that, because I think that's only computer friendly right now. And then there was one other thing I forgot. So if you want to learn more about chainmail, go check out the Mailworks app. I've got some more stuff I got to do before I go to bed. So you all have a wonderful evening. Have a good night. Richard, Louie, appreciate you guys being here. John, thank you for being here. I will talk to you all not tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we got practice. And then, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sometime over the weekend, I might have a night out with the family or something. But you should see me then sometime. So you all have a good one. I'll talk to you all later. Bye. All right.